your local neighborhood MP3J, Super Rig. It's your local neighborhood MP3J, Super Rig.
Yo, what's the business? It's your local neighborhood Super Rig off in this thing. Welcome to Late Lunch. It say the Struggle Morning Stream Show, but when I started setting this up, it was the morning, but then I was like, it's going to be a late lunch show. So, welcome to the Late Lunch Show with Super Rig. Hope y'all doing well. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe. What's the business, Edward? Did I make that beat too? Yes, I did make that beat as well, sir. All the beats that y'all hear, any beats you hear associated with this channel, my other channel, I done made them. A lot of them are old from the early 2000s, mid 2000s. I got some new ones too, but yeah, I did do that. What's the business, Stephanie Williams? How you doing today? So I picked the topic because I've been thinking it also. Hold on, let me check something real quick. Every time, I think this thing just broke. Oh, okay, yeah, this thing just got off. Hold on, y'all. All right. I think this how this work. I gotta get a new audio thing. Anyway, I picked this topic because I was thinking earlier today. We've had a lot of wars since last year, and y'all always know I'll be like, how outside of the machine, you know what I'm saying? Because the answer to all of the questions that we have regarding anything that's happened over the last, I'll say, forever in hip hop is because of the machine when it comes to mainstream stuff. But I'm kind of I want to approach it more from a us type thing. What matters more in rap, and I guess hip hop too, and we'll cover it all. But what matters the most? And I think I have a my opinion actually is mostly the swag. That's my opinion for it, because you gotta have the swag first. Wait, did this thing cut off? This thing cut off on me. First. in my opinion, you gotta have the swag first in order for anybody to even care about your skills. Just like much anything else in life, we always want to discount the image of something or just the coolness of something. But isn't that how life works? You know what I'm saying? This thing did not die on. Okay, there we go. All right, y'all should be able to hear me. Anyway, isn't that how everything else is in life? When you go pick fruit, for all you weird fruit eaters out there, don't you look at the fruit first? Don't the fruit gotta have a super fruity swag in order for you to even think about eating it to see if it tastes good? Matter of fact, how the look of the fruit indicates most of the time if it's gonna be delicious or not. Am I wrong or am I right? Same thing with a vehicle. Now, it is some good jalopies out there that will get you from A to B. However, you don't go to the car lot and be like, you know what? That car over there, the dude be like, what, the new one with the shiny paint job and the rims? No. The one over there with the rust on it and stuff, that looks like it has good character. I want to test drive that. No, you don't do that. You go with what looks the shiniest and the most mechanically sound, right? Right? Same thing with a partner. When you for those that still out in these dirty, filthy, nasty streets. Oh my gosh, the streets is filthy these days to be in. When you going swiping through, you're not looking for the most smuggliest person and being like, you know what? I want to get to know their insides. No, you're not. You looking for the best, healthiest looking person. If they got the Jordan eyes and they got the 2006 Gucci gut paired with the 2006 Gucci lips, most likely the ladies y'all go pass by. And for the fellas, if they I can't you know what unhealthy look like. If they just look unhealthy, you ain't clicking on it is what I'm trying to say. Same thing with our artists, with our rap artists. Now, back in the 80s and stuff, the folks could wear they was looking like superheroes and had leather chaps on and vests with hats with feathers in them and rapping about staying off with white horses and things of that nature. The swag was different back then, but you had to have that swag in the early 80s. You ain't had that swag, folks really weren't dealing with you like that. You know what I'm saying? If your curl wasn't dripping in the late 80s on the West, why is we even listening to you? Why? If you was walking around with a fade in 88, why do I don't want to hear about what you got to say? Every phase of the game, we have all been influenced by swag. And I'm not talking about the mainstream, I'm talking about on the streets level. Because music, we are influenced by music by whoever got the most swag. And the reason I'm using swag right now is because it's the same as the coolest person, the who had the most influence in your neighborhood before social media. Usually it was who had the nicest car with the loudest sound in it. Whatever they was bumping, that's what made you want to bump it. Because usually they wasn't bumping nothing trash. They was bumping something dope. So we was influenced by whoever was the coolest person in our area. And usually the coolest person will be listening to the coolest music, most likely. And that person, sometimes it was the sound, but back in the day, you would have to go to the record store to find out what was there. And especially of my generation as Zennials, us millennials, we grew up on MTV, BET, Yo MTV Raps, Rap City. So we were visually enticed. Most of the time for us, we saw the artist at the same time that we heard the artist. For a lot of the time. I say probably by the mid-90s, you was seeing it before you heard it. Then it kind of reset in the mixtape days. A lot of underground artists you might not saw. But if you was out there looking for new music, a lot of times you saw your favorite artists, especially if you was in areas like Atlanta and New York and LA, where it was big scenes for that. Most of the time, even with new music, you saw the artist first, and you was able to catch their aura, how they moved around. You like, you know what? And we got to be honest. How somebody moves around, how they deliver, all of that encompasses a great artist. You can give somebody who has zero charisma or zero type of anything about them the greatest song ever, it will fall flat. You got to have something, which is the core of my perplexivity, flabbergastidity, and just pure confusion on how the Froster ever blew up. I saw the first time I saw dude I was like, yeah, this is never fly. No, nobody's gonna be buying this. And I was wrong. And I think that was the beginning of when the machine was able to overpower coolness, right? Which leads us to where we here today. We still got some cool folks, but it allowed like, because when you go back to the 90s, even Vanilla Ice, when Vanilla Ice came out, was that bootleg hollow he had, was it goofy and stupid? Sure it was. But especially us who was 11, 12 at that age, was I the only person amazed? Like, how he get his hair to stand up like that? I was not alerted on what Moose was at that time. He had the sparkly red, white, and blue suit on, dancing like MC Hammer, and I was more enamored with, wow, he can dance. Like, for real, this is white, he can dance. And then when Ice Ice Baby came out, the beat was so ice cold. Then what he was rapping, which was obviously, especially after you found out, but obviously wrote by a black guy, was like, wait, he talk about breaking up, whooping ass and shooting folks and shit. He didn't. All you heard was from his nines was shells and stuff. It was like, oh my gosh, and he dancing. And then everybody in the video was black. He was the only white dude in the video, except for that one scene where they was. But we got enamored with the look for that one single, that one song. You wasn't able to pull it off again because the OGs that was still in the game was like, no, that's not gonna fly. You guys listen to that? No. But we gotta remember at that time they treated Hammer like they treated Vanilla Ice. At the same time, the OGs was like, yeah, no, not Hammer. I'll never forget the Truth of the Game video with Ice Cube, and he kidnapped DJ Pooh. DJ Pooh danced like him and stuff, and I remember it hit me with a little confusion. I was like, hold up, I like MC Hammer, but Ice Cube don't like him. It made me think twice. This is right when America, cause Most Wanted had came out, and as a young impressionable youth, I had messed with Hammer, but I was just kind of like, what are you talking about? Wait, Q, why we kidnapping him? He ain't true to the game. What are you talking about? And I don't know why I was asking that question, because I wasn't true to the game myself. I was fucking 11 years old. But still though. But initially when MC Hammer first came out, before he started wearing the baggy suits and stuff, he was cool. And I found out later what they was referencing was MC Hammer's image before the shiny suits and stuff. Before he went in his Puff Daddy stage, he was dressed like a regular dude at the club. He wasn't wearing no helicopter pants or whatever they called them things. The parachute pants. Yeah, he wasn't wearing that. He was wearing regular shit. And I went back and looked at old videos for Ringham and all this stuff back in 86 and stuff. So what they was talking about that I later found out is when he did start wearing all the sequins and stuff, they was like, oh, you done sold out. And I was like, oh, I didn't know, because the MC Hammer I got introduced to was You Can't Touch This. And in retrospect, that song was so great because this nigga had on some sequins Hammer pants, some parachute pants with some suspenders on and no shirt, dancing. And you couldn't have told. I didn't think about it. And the video still ice cold to this day. But now I understand what Ice Cube then was saying, because in that video, Ice Cube had on a Hanes His Way t-shirt and a baseball hat on. So he was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So they was trying to say MC Hammer wasn't cool. And at that time, just being a regular hood dude started to be cool, right? Through all the phases of hip hop, whatever was cool, considered cool, always took precedent over skills for the most part. If somebody looked cool and had skills at the same time, it was a win-win. Let's not forget Jay-Z. When Jay-Z came out, we all know he came out with Jazzo with the Hawaiian Sophie. Matter of fact, this is where we're gonna have to pick some pictures up. And this is what made Ether such a fantastic song. What is this? Hawaiian Sophie. Now, when Jay-Z first came out, he following up under Jazzo or whatever, Jay-Z was not the cool, debonair, I'm a hustler person that we knew of today. He was not of that. He was this dude right here. And this is not to shame him. Look. Damn struggle stream, I tell you. This was him initially. He was walking around in a Hawaiian shirt. He ain't had no chain. It might have been tucked in. No, he did have a chain on. But look who it looked like. It looked like Jazzo's chain. And he was not cool looking at all. Nas let us know just how uncool he was. Was he slanging? Sure he was. But in the when he was introduced to the rest of the world, it was like, no. He had to change his whole image and become cool. This was back when hip hop was, you had to kind of have a gimmick. All right. And he is not the only person. And I'm not saying he wasn't cool in general. I'm saying his image, this image was not cool. That's why we didn't see Jazzo after this and nothing, because they messed up their first time coming out. Let me bring it back to being cool. The GZA first single, I think it was called Do Me. Was it Do Me? And I spelled GZA wrong. His first album cover was him in a damn silk shirt. And his first single was Do Me. Because this is what the labels thought was cool. But that's not what we thought was cool. That's not what the streets thought was cool. Okay? He had to go back, him and the RZA. The RZA's first single was They Love You Rakim. Okay? He's sitting there talking about, I got too many ladies. I just can't stand. I don't know how to tell them no. Okay? The cover of that, this was the cover of that, right? The cover of that album looked like this. This is a RZA. This is Wu-Tang. This is what they tried to sell us. All right. The Machine didn't have too much power like that to really push nothing like that. All right. Even Tone Loc and Young MC just had on some regular sweatshirts and stuff. They didn't glitz out or nothing. And Tone Loc was cool in the streets and stuff. I don't know about Young MC. I think Young MC was like the first. Young MC probably was the J. Cole of his time, where it wasn't nothing flashy about him, but everybody wanted to bust a move. But he didn't look offensive. He didn't look offensively corny. He just looked cool, right? But in order to get a record deal, they gave the RZA a record deal, but he didn't look like this when they gave him a record deal. The RZA looked like the nigga who just beat a murder charge when he got his record deal initially. But then they tried to clean him up. But the RZA understood that, that's not, the streets want to see me be me. And boom, we get the birth of Wu-Tang. Same thing with NWA. With NWA, the reason NWA took off was they could have, Ice Cube wrote all of their lyrics in for the most part. I think MC Ren wrote his own stuff, but for the most part, Ice Cube wrote everything that Eazy-E said. They built NWA off of Eazy-E. Why? Because Eazy-E was the coolest nigga out the whole squad. It definitely wasn't Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre was wearing sequins and lip gloss, talking about turn off the lights in the early mid 80s and things. So he wasn't the coolest. Ice Cube was just a regular middle class dude. Parents had, maybe lower middle class, but he was just a cool regular dude. MC Ren, I think MC Ren was like the broke dude of the clique. You know what I'm saying? He might have been street. And MC Yella, DJ Yella, I don't know too much about him, but just from their first album, because you knew DJ Yella really wasn't about no kind of life. Like, he probably just had the equipment. Like, they was just like, you got some turntables? He was like, yeah, I got some turntables. He don't look happy in none of the pictures they ever had. He don't look hard or happy. But I'm going to get off of DJ Yella. I'm not trying to get the colorist label around here. But Easy on the other hand, Easy had all the swag. And it goes back to what I was telling y'all earlier. Cause Easy had the curl. He had the curls for the girls. But he had the curl because he was really out there. He had the swag. He just needed some words. He wasn't no rapper. He was out there slanging. But everybody was drawn to him because we are drawn to cool naturally. We just naturally, all of us, whether you a man, woman, child, everybody likes somebody that's cool and confident within themselves. It ain't got nothing to do with slanging or nothing like that. I'm talking about just the cool, debonair, and confidence. Eazy-E, technically, I'm trying to think. It's got to be somebody before him. Well, I want to say, actually, the first real swag rappers might have been Run DMC, like on a big level, right? Because the Fat Boys had a gimmick. They was fat. They could rap, and they was, they wasn't no punks or nothing either, but it was the Fat Boys, right? Curtis Blow, the Treacherous Three, Kool Moe Dee, all them, they was in the era of hip-hop where it was wearing all the outfits and stuff. Run DMC, at least from a mainstream perspective, was the first dudes to come out. I was like, yeah. And they was modeled after who? Who was the coolest person in they group? Who was they modeled after? Jam Master Jay. All right. Jam Master Jay is the one that dressed like that. Because Jam Master Jay, much like Eazy-E, was really about their life. All right. And so they modeled Run DMC after Jam Master Jay because he looked the coolest. They wanted to dress like the coolest. They came out and they swag was on 100 million. The Adidas suits, the gold Dookie Dope gold chain, and the K Gold hats. And rocked it. And people liked it. Why? It was cool. It was cool. They was like, yeah, we all that dressing up trying to look like Kiss and the Isley Brothers. We done with that. We love Funkadelic, but I'm not wearing a diaper on stage no more. That's my last time. And swag was brought to hip hop on a mainstream level, everybody, and that's really when it kind of took hold. Because when they was doing the goofy shit with the, you know what I'm saying? Y'all done seen Breaking. Y'all done seen Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo. Y'all done seen Wild Style. Y'all seen all that. Wild Style was a little bit more realistic, but still though, the other side of the country is like, look at those. They got some weirdos, and they're graffiti-fying the walls. We don't like that. Run DMC came out though, and them dudes looked at them was like, I want to dress like that. Got an Adidas suit. Why it don't look like that when I put it on? The cool had to come first. It had to come first. The cool always got to come first. The swag has to come first for anybody to really want to deal with it. And a lot of us like to kind of push that to the side because we did enter a year called 2000. I'll say 2005, 2006. And now Atlanta had already been running the game, right? Outkast came in 96. Then Lil Jon then was bubbling up under there. The East Coast came back though around the late 90s. DMX, Rough Riders, Ja Rule, Murder Inc. in the early 2000s. They was still uphold, but then 2005, 2006, one snap made it all go away. Snap music came, and we was hearing, I ain't gonna lie, first time, and dance music made a huge return. Getting crunk, but Soulja Boy always talk about, I brought a lot of stuff in. But he brought that whole just dancing again straight back really hard. Now, my homeboy was in Atlanta at the time the Soulja Boy had dropped. And he was like, yo, this is what's running the radio. He put Soulja Boy on there. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the worst song I ever heard. Ever heard in my life. I'm talking about, and I was high key upset that that's what was running. Cause soon as I got on the phone with him, later that night they played it in the radio, on the radio in San Antonio. I was like, oh my gosh, hip hop. And I was a hip hop elitist for a long time. For those that don't know, I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. I was one of two people that was a Wu-Tang fan in '93. I ain't listened to my first Master P and none of that. I didn't catch on until 97, 98 and realize, oh, I had been missing out. But that's another subject for another time. No, it ain't. It's for here. I was an elitist where I was all based on lyrics because Wu-Tang, they had came with this whole brand new aesthetic that I wasn't used to from where I was at. So them and ATMs and wearing vests, which I hate vests now. What's the point of a vest? Why do vests exist? Your arms ain't warm, and your pecs is the only thing need to be warm. I hate vests. They dumb. And anyway, they had a whole brand new aesthetic. They had gold fangs, platinum fangs, and all. I was like, oh my gosh, da 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 da. And P them was just like niggas I knew in my mind. They was just local niggas in my mind. They didn't intrigue me, so I didn't want to listen to them. Cause I was like, oh, you just gonna be rapping about, stuff around here that I see and stuff. These niggas is rapping about pyramids and all sorts of other things. I still don't know what the hell Ghostface was rapping about to this day. But I was intrigued because they was cool. They looked real cool. And they was a foreign type of cool. But Master P them was just regular around the way cool. I finally listened. I was like, yes, I was missing out. Then Cash Money crept in around that time too. And so we got Cash Money, No Limit. They had bubbled up. Now my East Coast elitism was like, oh, they ain't lyrical, da da da. But I ain't give them a chance because they look like me. We was wearing white tees and reeds or a soldier or gangster nights and stuff like. I didn't want to give them a listen because I was like, I don't want to hear nothing about what's going on around me. I want to hear about that. So I was elitist and I was like, oh, it's got to be skills and you got to use dictionaries and all that stuff. Until I actually heard them rap. Till I heard 400 Degrees and heard Silver Shocker first album. And I was like, oh, they do be spitting this stuff. They cool was just a cool I was used to though. But I was able to, accept it. Let's get back to 2006 though. Because this all gonna wrap up, I promise. But 2006 wasn't no lyrics. It was just Soulja Boy off in this hoe. D4L came out, Laffy Taffy. You know what Lil Jon was doing. The chant rap came. Lyrics just completely disappeared around this time. But the music got bigger than ever. I'm talking about they took over not only the radio, but even Bone Crusher came out, Never Scared. Next thing I know, I look up, it's Cameron and Jadakiss on the remix. Fat Joe starting to make down south sounding songs. The East Coast started sounding like the down south stuff went for years. They was like, oh, they ain't talking about nothing. No, they ain't got no skill. But the thing is, we could talk about how it wasn't no lyrics on Soulja Boy stuff or Yin Yang stuff. But they was doing cool dances. When you went to the club, it was like, oh my gosh, look how they move. That's cool. You go to the club and all of that stuff would start banking, and especially the ladies run on the floor, it automatically turned it cool. The lyrics didn't matter no more because people was having fun. Then it translated in the car because it took you back to the thought process of the club, which goes to everything. Music is a feeling. It just gave you a good feeling. And then we didn't care about lyrics for a long time after that, right? Lyrics didn't matter for a very long time. Of course, you had underground people. You still had your Eminems. You still had Nas dropping stuff. Jay-Z was dropping stuff. You had but even Jay-Z said on the Black album that I think he said what he said after he sold the mill or whatever. He used to rap like Common Sense, but then after he went platinum, he ain't rap like Common Sense or something like that. Because once hip hop hit its pinnacle in the early 2000s, it was everywhere. It was outside in the club. Don't nobody want to decipher no lyrics when you in the club kicking. You just want to look cool. You want to feel cool, right? You just want to look cool, want to feel cool. And even Jay-Z had to recognize it. One of the greatest lyricists of all time understood that cool outweighed the lyrics, right? Because it's true. Don't nobody want to hear what you gotta say if you a nerd or consider it not cool. I'm not gonna say nerd. I'm a nerd. But then, like I said, the fraudster came and screwed it all up. Now, with that being said, there's good music. This what also sparked this conversation was the fact that my homeboy called me this morning and he just discovered MF Doom. And I was like, yo, you just heard MF Doom? My son, a super MF Doom fan. I like Rap Snitches and one other song. I done heard his other projects, but I'm be honest. My homeboy had the same reason I had when I first seen MF Doom. Why this nigga got a mask on his face that looked like a horseshoe? What is going on? And I was in the comic books. I knew who Doom was and stuff. I was like, why you got this man? I'm not going to listen to you. Because it didn't seem cool. It didn't seem cool at all. Then I did my research on MF Doom. Come to find out, MF Doom been around since the early 90s. He was in a group. And he had a deal. And he looked regular. Matter of fact, he was trying to keep up with what the trends of hip-hop was at the time. And he just got tired of the whole industry of the game trying to keep up with this image. Because he really cared about what the lyrics was, the music was. So he just said, screw it. I'm putting this mask on. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to rap out what I want to rap out. He went 100% underground. And while he was tunneling, all of the cool people was on top. Now, these years later, we had groups that came out, which I got to give props to the youth. Around 2009, 2010-ish, you had Odd Future, Tyler the Creator pop out, who included Earl Sweatshirt and folks like that. You had Lil B pop out, who Lil B does not get the respect he deserves, but Lil B pop out. And then you had Currency, who was signed to both Cash Money and No Limit, say, forget it. I'm leaving and I'm gonna do my own thing, my own shit. If you listen to Currency's first albums, this nigga was talking about playing Nintendo Wii. Now he was fucking your bitch and smoking a blunt at the same time. But still though. And they was able to circumvent what the mainstream hijacked is what was cool. Cause if we go back to Eazy-E, they kind of made gangster be cool. Like they just made being in the streets synonymous with cool, which ain't what 100% what cool is. Cool is just, it was at that time growing up in our environments, but that wasn't just the end all be all cool. It was different levels of cool. Some of them cats that was super thug, you go in their house and they have posters of cartoons and all sorts of stuff, depending on how G they was. Only the ones would take your life was comfortable doing that. But anyway, mainstream stripped away what cool was, and then we just you had to get shot and sell drugs and stuff and be cool or whatever. And they was able to usher in a new version of cool. Even A$AP Rocky them, yeah, they was talking about doing drugs, sipping lean, fucking hoes and all that shit. But it was, the aesthetic was more on some kind of flashy pretty boy shit, but on some other shit. So 2009, it kind of splintered off, and with the advent of the internet and mixtapes and shit, we was able to get different versions of what everybody think is cool, right? Now, with that being said, going back to whichever is cool matters most, cool or the lyrics, whatever you consider is cool, whatever that person is rapping about, you go relate to. A lot of people relate. I relate to Lil B's lyrics. I related to a lot of A$AP them lyrics. Currency, I relate to all his lyrics. Me and him, he's like, a brother from another mother type thing. But that's because I felt like they was cool. Their images was cool. Everything I liked about it was cool. It ain't never lyrics first. Now, let me tell you about the whole lyrics first thing. When you put lyrics first, you get shit like Cannabis. Cannabis can super rap. He can super rap. But don't nobody want to look like or be like or don't nobody want to be like Cannabis. You know what I'm saying? I think it's the same reason battle rappers can't really transition over to the mainstream like that, because battle rap is one of the most awesome and most you got to be a very smart person to be able to be a battle rapper. You got to be on some whole other shit, the way you think and everything. Battle rappers, but it don't look cool to the average person. And also, for me, watching battle rap, I'm like, these dudes is really mad at each other. And also, you done said some, how everybody still alive in battle rap? I don't get it. They be saying stuff where you really need to die me. All the times I seen somebody get slapped in battle rap, I be like, about time, yes. I'm not a promoter of violence, but it's just, you got to be built different to be in the battle rap shit. But they be rapping so crazy. They rap past gangster stuff. Like they done took your body, threw it up in there, and shot you 8 bajillion times, and then come back down and shoot you again. And they do it all this, and that's outside the spectrum of what people think is cool, and even me. It's dope lyrically, but it just ain't. I don't want to hang out with nobody that's got 22 guns like Neo in the Matrix and shit. It sound cool to rap it, but I don't want to. I want somebody this has got one nine, and is under the seat. That's enough gangsterism for me. But they lyrics is so crazy, and you would think that they would be able to translate over the rap, but you can't, because the cool got to come first. The cool always got to come first. Now you got people to the middle of the road people, like Mos Def. Mos Def seemed like a cool cat. He's super lyrical, but he was able to kind of squeak through. But he very artistic and stuff like that. And that brings me to Raucous. Y'all remember Raucous label? They made noise for what they was doing, but they wasn't able to translate like how Wu-Tang was able to translate. When I saw the Raucous dudes, which is why I had that image of the green beret hat, the cypher hat. When I saw that, I was like, I don't care what they got to say. I'm sorry. And even where they from, that's like a little subset. You know what I'm saying? Or what's cool or whatever. So they weren't able to really blow, and a lot of people would be like, "Oh, the mainstream denied them." No one the mainstream. They got pushed. But just on some. I heard this saying from FD Signifier, which I had never heard this saying before, and he probably got it from somebody else, but I heard it from him. But they was like, yeah, the cannabis shit is scaring the hoes, and I was like, wow, because that was. I wouldn't go listen to nothing. I really couldn't play around no girls, because women is what dictate what cool is. Kinda, for the most part, a little bit. Is cool dudes do stuff, but they do cool stuff because that's who they are. Women are attracted to confidence, and whatever the cool dudes listen to, usually women are flock to, even if they don't like it like that, right? Wasn't nobody flocking to no damn cannabis and the green beret motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Some women were, but them women, and look, I don't mean to offend any women that really like that, but all of the images I saw was, look, they didn't shave their pits, all right? And I only met one person that was like that. I'm not gonna put a blanket statement over it, but I was like, yeah, I don't want to. And that was the type of stereotype that was given to the women that mess with that type of music. I was like, all right, just. And then I'm gonna be honest, a lot of women that like the real lyrical stuff and stuff, they wasn't letting you smash like the first day, and it's like, what? Why are we here? Why are we? So you got to put the lyrical stuff in the shelf. Be like, oh, you like the lyrical stuff? Hold on, let me put some of this Project Patty in. Maybe this will change your thought process. But I'm joking, but I'm for real though. The cool got to come first. Period. It's only a subset of people that that the lyrics and all that stuff is what's really cool. But this whole journey of hip hop I just gave y'all didn't hear me talk about no lyrics. Sugar Hill Gang was like the first charting rap group. No, that wasn't no lyric stuff. Yeah, we had the message from Grandmaster Flash and all of that stuff, but they were trying to get the party started. Hip hop originally was about getting the party started. Okay? That's what it was about. Then, because we got to remember, the DJ was the most important part of hip hop initially. The MC was really just there to shout out the DJ. Then eventually the MC came on, but the MC had to be able to rock the party, not educate the party to sleep. Okay? And I'm just talking about the origins of it. But over time, as the hip hop developed, and people was like, yo, I can add a little bit more to this. And then it developed. Lyricism came a little bit later. And then we got all these subsets of people dictating what hip hop is. Because I know people go hear that part and be like, oh, so don't tell me you don't like lyric. No, I had a Wu-Tang tattoo. I was super lyrical man for a minute. Until I realized, and once I did start doing my research about hip hop and rap and everything, realized it's all of this encompassed together. Like everything. It's a space for all of this stuff, whether it's Soulja Boy or whether it's cannabis. Except for pulling girls, cannabis is nowhere related to that on any level. You will catch way more girls with Soulja Boy than you ever will with cannabis. Matter of fact, you will run them away with cannabis. But on just some rap shit, it's a place for cannabis. It's a place for Talib Kweli. It's a place for MF Doom. It's a place for Slaughterhouse. It's a place for Griselda. It's a place for Wu-Tang, Cash Money, No Limit, Rough Riders, Slip and Slide. It's a place for all rap. Except for that damn fraud. There's no place for him. And I'm still mad at all y'all. It's y'all's fault this motherfucker made it to where he was at. It's y'all's fault. I'm talking about this all-encompassing shit. That somebody said that speech and he was able to rise through that speech. Because I'm sure everybody's like, we don't want to hear that. Some dumbass go say the speech I just said and got him signed and shit, and then he got pushed through. So that speech is only for everything except for that. Now, I will say this. Outside of him as the entity, that emotional, hated rating music, is it a space for hating music? And when I say hating, I mean on some, you could do better than him. You should be with me. That's art. I don't know. It's my heart say it's not a place for that type of music, even in R&B. Like, you shouldn't be saying that to nobody, but the world is bigger than me. But it's a place for everything. Now, me personally, I know a lot of people judge me about my musical taste because I'm very much swag and style over lyrics. I am. I'm sorry. It go like this. If I see you and I hear you, I register if I could kick it, if I could chill with you. Do you remind me of my peoples that I hang with? It's actually two. Either do you remind me of the people I hang with, or where I want to hang with you and learn from you, or hang with you and think I have some fun, right? If it don't pass neither one of them tests, I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how good you can rap. I'm not gonna listen to it. And even though I can listen to it and objectively say this person can rap, it is never going to relate to me if I don't think you cool for me. Even if everybody else think you cool, if you ain't cool to me, and I think everybody else is like this. If you not cool to that audience, that's why everybody has their own audience. And that's why we all mad at the machine for pushing non-cool on us by just blasting it and feeling it everywhere. Because we all, and usually what's considered cool is a cultural thing, right? So if I love OJ the Juice Man, Gucci Mane, Project Pat, 666, and all that type of music, because culturally that's what was cool. Where I'm from, all of that stuff relate to stuff I saw and shit I was around. So to most people like, OJ can't rap. I'm like, yeah, but I would kick with OJ. OJ remind me of my cousin. OJ rap about the same shit I seen or whatever, blah, blah, I didn't do. Well, not the drugs part, but all the kicking and the bras and riding, I was there. So everything that OJ say, he ain't gotta be super lyrical with it. I don't need all of that. I just need him to say the shit that I did and I relate to it. 666 is odd because if you look at 666 and even Wu-Tang, but with 666 when you go to their shows, it's usually white people in there. And I was like, why they resonate? So one day I went back and when I cut out all of the gangster stuff they was rapping about, I was like, oh, I forgot these be talking about the devil and demons and shit in their first earlier shit, and it was really just Koopsta and it was mainly Koopsta and Scarecrow, but still though. And that resonated with them dudes, and mostly the doing of super hard drugs. That was what resonated, because I was like, why so many white people? I'm not doing no heroin and none of that stuff like Koopsta was talking about and shit. But that's just how it is. We go resonate with what's cool. The biggest thing about this whole culture war thing with the Froster and is the main thing for me was anytime I saw him, he wasn't cool. He didn't look cool. He didn't act cool. He don't look or act cool now. He ain't even cool amongst his own peers. Whenever they show his old footage around him and the people he grew up with, so they treat him like shit. He trying to get acceptance from them. That's where most of my hatred come from, because it was try to force cool on the person that ain't. And then he went and connected with people that had natural cool and tried to siphon the cool from them and put it on like a jacket. But the thing is, the emperor ain't got no damn clothes on. But people acting like they don't. Anyway, but yeah, I used to be a lyrical miracle elevator, but I had to realize I wasn't no lyrical miracle elevator like that. I thought the RZA, Jizza, Old Dirty Bastard, Inspector Get, Deck, Raekwon the Chef, You Got, Ghostface Killah, and the Method was just the coolest motherfuckers I had ever seen. So I wanted to hear what they had to say, because when I first saw them on Uptown Comedy Club, it was the coolest thing I ever saw in my life. By the time I saw Jay-Z, I saw Reasonable Doubt stuff or whatever, but he was just a cool, laid back, just what New York, that type of New York stuff was. He was just a cool cat. Biggie, same way. I first seen Biggie on the Juicy video. I was like, wow, he is black and fat and ugly as ever. However, this nigga, he rap about stuff. I know I seen this stuff. I relate to him. And he just so happened to rap real good. Same thing with Project Pat or Gucci, but it's other lyrical people. Now Eminem was cool to me, because the first time I saw him, it was something I had never seen before. And the shit he was rapping and the way he was rapping was something I never seen before. So it sounded cool. Even though Slim Shady ain't my favorite stuff. But that first single, The How My Name Is, was just it was a cool song. He looked like he was wearing, he came out in a white t-shirt and jeans. That's what Cash Money was wearing. He came out in a Cash Money. The only difference was his jeans was them Janko jeans and not Jabos. That was it. He was in the same gear. So he subconsciously, I was like, oh, he ain't no Backstreet Boy. And the Backstreet Boys went hard around that time, but that's another conversation as well. If you say different, you can go to hell. How about that? Actually, NSYNC was harder than the Backstreet Boys, but that's for another conversation. But Eminem could really rap, and the shit I heard was super cool. Now, Eminem, for some reason, I ain't ride around listening on Eminem either, though. Not with no girls in the car, nothing like that. That's also, get the hell out of here. But he was able to resonate later on. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm about to go into the comments, see what y'all talking about. See just how much y'all disagree. See if it's a smidget that do agree. And see how many unsubs we got. Let's see who is in the house right now. Let us see who is in the house today. We got what's up, Eddie Ward? Supermom, what's up? Miss Heated Female, pot roast and potatoes Wednesday. Ooh, that sounds delicious. That sounds super great. Out of 42 votes, we got 52% of people listen to lyrics, 26 listen to the beat, and 21 listen to the delivery as the most important thing. And I'm glad I ain't went through all the comments yet, because I was hoping, that's why I put most in capital, because I was hoping people was like, oh, it's all of them together. No, I'm talking about the most. Me personally, I'm a beat person. If the beat go hard, I'm going to listen to the rest of it. But then after that, it's the delivery, and the lyrics be the last thing I listen to on the song. Like, that's the last thing I care about on the song if the beat trash. And that's why we got that's what happened to Cannabis' first album. Okay, it's a lot of dope lyrical people where you put it in, it's like, oh my gosh, some beats is trash. Like, why are you here? This is called music. If it was just about the lyrics, then why the hell you got beats? If that's the main thing, and battle rap, that's why battle rap ain't got no beats behind it, cause it ain't about the beat. It's about the lyrics. But when it comes to music, what's the point? That was my problem with Nas for a long time. His albums would have like 3 songs with dope beats, and then the rest of it just be like, yeah, just turn the metronome on. I'm Nas. I don't need no dope beats. Just throw something on so I can get my Nas on. And be like, yeah, Nas, you telling the story, you taking me through the thing, but nigga, this beat is trash. So I'm glad he done hooked up with like super good producers and shit. And then even then, when he did hook up with super dope producers, when he hooked up with Timbaland for that You Won't See Me Tonight, I like that beat, but I was like, I don't want to hear Nas over these type of beats. I want to hear him over some dope, street stuff. Now he alright on some commercial shit, but anyway. Let's see. Stephanie Williams said, my car had windows rattling when I passed through because I had huge subwoofers and trunk that filled up the dang near the whole trunk. That's exactly. With the equalizer and extra tweeters on the inside. Yo, you had to have your 2 tweeters in the front, 6x9. If you really on some crazy shit, you had 4 sets of 6x9s, then 2 10s, 2 15s in the trunk. And I'm surprised any of us still got any type of eardrum left over from that era. Cause this is what it sounded like when I was growing up. This is what everything sounded like. It was all vibration. Like, you get in the car, I don't even remember hearing the words or the music. I just remember hearing felt it on your back. And it was, you know what? That was a great time for deaf people because they could actually enjoy the music with you because everybody was feeling it at the same time. It wasn't even about, it was just, they felt you coming down the street. You know what I'm saying? Now we live in a horrible time for them. Okay, yeah, I got 6 minutes. All right, let's see. Hold up. It ain't let me go to my chat. All right, there we go. Let's see. I was in the Bay Area music. I don't know, Jay, when he first came out. Yeah, a lot of people. And I remember when Jay-Z jumped on the High remix. I was so pissed off. He fucked up that whole song. At 16, I met my dad for the first time. I was sent to Arkansas, and I took the E40 CD with me. Hey, we had did a questionable lyrics episode. Matter of fact, we about to do a questionable lyrics episode, but one live we had a questionable lyric episode. It was from, I don't know if it was an E40 album or it was The Click. Let me know if you know the lyric I'm talking about, though. E40 said it, and I was like, oh. Even back then, I was like, oh my gosh, really? But we go include that in the questionable lyric full episode that we got coming up. Stephanie Williams, I live in the South, so the rappers I listen to is Bone, Fat Pat, and Charlie Boy. Charlie Boy went hard as hell, but yes, because that was what was cool. That was cool. And who signed Bone Thugs? Eazy-E signed Bone Thugs. He also signed Black Eyed Peas though, and will.i.am, which just lets you know he was thinking about different markets. Just different markets. Lil Kiki, super hard. Let me see you do the South Side. Big Daddy Kane, super cool. The whole Juice Crew was so cool, and I remember when the Juice Crew and Boogie Down Productions was into it, and I was 100% Juice Crew. Let's look at this. Let me go back to Juice Crew being. Let's go to the Juice Crew. Okay, and what they looked like. All right, this was the Juice Crew, and it wasn't no way in the world, in the entire world, was Boogie Down Productions better than the Juice Crew. The Juice Crew had all of the super duper swag. Look at this. The Dookie Gold chains. They on a private jet. All the hollows. Big Daddy Kane back there. Marley Marl. MC Shan. A couple of these dudes, I can't remember their names. That was how am I forget him? He's one of the first gangster East Coast rappers. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm so pissed off because he one of the dopest dudes too. Anyway, y'all know who I'm talking about. Now this was Boogie Down Productions. This let's see if they can get their whole group. Let's see. Now this was them. Now ain't nothing wrong with it, but it just wasn't super cool. You know what I'm saying? For me and what I consider super cool. So when I was seeing all this going on back and forth, whenever I go over my friend's house who had cable and stuff, I wanted to be part of the Juice Crew. I wanted to be part of Big Daddy Kane them. You know what I'm saying? Was the BDP coming with the education and all of that stuff? And yes, they was coming with all of that. They was. And as you see here, they had their little, DJ Red Alert and all of them, they wanted to dress, but their leader was KRS-One, who didn't care about none of all of that stuff. He really wanted to educate and uplift. And sorry, I wanted to see Dookie Gold chains and private planes and brats. That's what I wanted to see. So it's about the cool. It's about the cool. LL Cool J middle name was literally Cool. He had he was the first lover. He was the first heartthrob of hip hop, and I can't believe I forgot about that. But yeah, LL Cool J, which he won nothing but a pretty boy break off of Run DMC. He was cool, and the ladies did love Cool James. So why wouldn't I bump LL Cool J if the ladies love him? You know what I'm saying? If the ladies love him, but he had hard songs. Radio is one of my favorite albums of all time. It's one of my favorite debut albums of somebody of all time. It had everything on it. And then Biggie and Deffer, though, that's my favorite. That and Mr. Smith, actually. They're my two favorite LL Cool J albums. Let's see. Superman said my uncle was a DJ, so I got special mixtapes. Those were the days. Yep. Stephanie Williams said, I know, right? I hated when it got to the end and it didn't record the full last song because I got a bag full of tapes where I made mixtapes and stuff from the radio. And hey, you know what? Let me write this down. Do y'all remember back? It was a time where the radio version. Remember when they would sell maxi singles? It was the singles that had like 5 versions of the song. It had the original version, the radio edit, the club edit, the club extended edit, the instrumental, the Junior Reed's dance hall remix, the dance. It had like 50 versions of the same song on there. And the radio version was sometimes the radio version was the best version though. The edited version too. Yeah, let me write that down. Maxi singles was the bomb. But sometimes the radio version, when you make them radio tapes and then you get the real CD, even though the real CD had the cuss words, they would change the beat sometimes. You'd be like, man. Let's see. What else y'all talking about? Imperial Status, Scaring the Hoes is JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown album. That's where, okay. I ain't know who had came up with that. I just know I had heard him talk about it the first time. I was like, I had never heard that. Whatchamacallit. And I had listened to I gave Danny Brown and JPEG Mafia a shot, and them niggas not only scared the hoes, they scared niggas like me. I was like, yeah, I'm not ready. And I respect the hell out of both of them just on they online persona and they interviews and stuff like that. Especially Danny Brown's interviews. I ain't never seen no JPEG Mafia like him talking, but I listen to his album. It's way too experimental for me. And Danny Brown's music it's a little too what is it? I can't put my finger on it, but he a funny dude. He funny and cool though, and I'm glad they came up with that because their music is some scary shit. Let's see. Shay Mix said Larby is a pop star that raps sometimes. Most of his voice ain't even for his raps. Exactly. He ain't even no pop. Look, I'm sorry. Like, but real pop stars was them thinking and the Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears on that side. Whitney Houston was a pop star. Michael Jackson, that's a pop star. They had talent and charisma. Now, was Michael Jackson weird? Of course, sure he was. But Michael Jackson had a gangster side to him, especially when you because back then we couldn't see nothing but what the tabloids was putting out, right? And he didn't really come out too much. And then on the back end, once we saw him talking and doing interviews and you hear behind the scene clips and stuff, he had an aura about him that was hella gangster. But he was also weird as hell. I'll never discount that. Three things can be true at once. Let's see. Solo in the Crowd said the beat catches my attention, the flow and the lyrics keep my attention. I feel you on that. Let's see. L been in the house. What's up, Toy? What's up? Let's see. They say that's not true outside of NYC maybe, but nah, you need a skill. But what skill though? What is skill? What is skill? Because some people think skill is you got to have a bunch of metaphors and stuff, right? Tupac wasn't no super metaphorical flipping triple entendre dude. Nah, he was just spitting. He was just spitting his feelings. So we've all heard that discussion on Pac went lyrical. Cause Biggie, my number one favorite rapper of all time, like period, just in 2 albums. And I'm talking about my other favorite rappers on my list and dropped 8 bajillion other projects. And just first 2 albums, he said the shit I still say to myself. I'm like, wow, what was he thinking about? Where he come from? Pac, on the other hand, hit you with them emotions and stuff. So if we go by skill, what is skill? And that's why I put delivery on there, because sometimes delivery is a part of a skill. Everybody ain't got the skill to deliver. If you gave a speech for Barack Obama to say and another any other person, you gave them the same speech. Barack has that charisma. Same Bill Clinton had that charisma. Being able to spit some shit a certain way is also a skill. So when I say skill, it's more for this video was lyrics, but you can get a dopest lyrics to somebody if they can't spit it right. What's the point? That's like giving somebody a super fast race car. You put them on the track, if they don't know how to drive, it's like, I mean, your car fast, but you ain't got no skills, But I feel what she's saying though. Toto said no. You have to pull him up from when he was with Cool G. Cool G Rap. That was his name. That was his name. I was so mad. I knew it. I knew it. Let's see. Biz Marquis got his name on his hat. Did y'all watch the Biz Marquis documentary? That dude was a mover and shaker. Like, he was gluing all these people together, and he had to gift the gab for real. I want Super and Keto Abashi link up. Both are hilarious. Both from Arkansas. Who is Keto Abashi? I don't know who that is. I'm gonna have to let me screenshot this so I can look them up later on. Let's see. I was on the work call. Now I'm behind. Yeah, I'm on a late lunch. Just in case anybody from my workplace, I took my lunch hour, which I'm kind of running over. I was supposed to be off at 3. I'm gonna finish the rest of these. I'm gonna get to the bottom of the chest, then I'm gonna get myself back to the job myself. And let me reiterate, this is my lunch hour. Let's see. Yeah, the radio version. It's this song, this masterpiece song, called "If I Could Change," and I had bought the damn stupid single, and I bought the album with the song on it because it was on. I forgot which. And it did have the radio version on it, and the radio version, the video version, the same. And even on YouTube, they got a very low quality, somebody VHS taped over tape version of the radio version, and I can't find the radio version of that song nowhere. I pay a pretty penny for the radio version of that song on CD, but I can't find it nowhere. I'm so mad. I can't find a good copy of the video neither. Let's see. I'm about to find out who this keto person is. Let's see. Remember when they used to have a little audio clip sample of the songs in the store? Yep. Hell yeah. What's up, Imperial Stat? Danny Brown voice sound like a honeycomb. Yeah, it's like, yeah. It's too animated and stuff. I get it, but for me, the animated stuff, you gotta know when to use it, when to turn it off, and It's just, it's just, Nas don't do much punchlines neither. Neither do Rakim. Exactly. So it's what his skills. Now, they are good at plainly stating some stuff and putting, like, Nas can put together good stories or just what's the word? Good descriptions of stuff, make you see stuff visually. And Rakim just be spitting. Just raw, like, spitting. And his voice, he ain't no joke. And you can hear it when he rapping. And he sound cool. And Eric B just back there being cool. Well, Rakim look right. I seen Rakim smile one time on accident on the interview. Other than that, that's what made him cool. It's like, yo, he told you he ain't no joke, and he showed you that, and he just look cool. Matter of fact, I'm be honest though, Rakim and Eric B, they was too serious. They was super cool. I wouldn't want to hang out with them though, cause they kind of too serious. I think they look at me like, if you don't shut the fuck up, and I'll be like, you know what, I'm about to leave. Y'all making me uncomfortable with your seriousness. Let's see. Keto goes live on Wednesday in the chat call and battle rap each other. I'm rapping for the first time. Let me look this up. Keto Abashi. Let's see. It is crazy how people be having such a huge following. You never heard of them in your entire life. Never. I just Googled them. That's crazy. Folks be having like hundreds of thousands of subs. You be like, you seen so and so? And they say no. You be like, get the hell out of here. Let's see. They say, you say he with TDE in his head. Wait, who with TDE? The keto guy? Anyway, all right, y'all. I'm about to get my ass off of this thing, so we can keep the lights on. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. Me and Briscoe be on tonight for the struggle stream. I think we go react to some stuff. I ain't sure yet, so I ain't gonna say, but we will be on at our regular time of between 5 and 7:30. One of the two. It's gonna be one of the two times. So see y'all tonight. I will be streaming on my other channel tomorrow. I will be talking about my brother and me. My brother and me on the Super Rig Show. If you ain't following that channel, it is right here. It is called the Super Rig Show. Okay? And I will be doing my nostalgia time talk of my brother and me. So if you have not followed yet, just go on over here to the Super Rig Show. All right, hit that subscribe. I always put a post here to let y'all know I'm going live over there. This is my Zennial Millennial show where I like to talk about shit for us. We old. I don't care what nobody say. So catch me over there tomorrow. And I'm gonna be coming on here every day at lunch. The late lunch super should be back every day now. And yeah, appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have a good rest of y'all work day. And get whatever work you need done. Hope you had a good lunch. And I'll see y'all tonight. Peace out.